what that knows about ladies. Women are the only people that would break up with you for the same reason they dated you. Like me and my ladies are like dating, she's like, oh my gosh, you're so funny, you're so spontaneous. But then we broke up, she's like, nigga, everything's a joke till you're never around. I thought that's what you wanted.
Does anyone else here battle with depression? Woo, please help. Woo. I like how they call it battling with depression, because you're really just getting your ass handed to you by it. There's no battle. Like if it was a UFC fight, someone would be like, we gotta call this. This is fucking crazy. Because depression's nuts, because it's in you all the time, and it waits until no one's around to be like, psst, you suck. And you're just like, what? Where were you when all my friends were around? And it's like, you don't have any friends.
I can tell I'm getting older because I keep having these moments where I'm like, fuck, I am turning into my mom. Like it happened to me the other day when I noticed that I'm starting to text like this. I don't even have vision problems. I'm also totally turning into my dad because now all of a sudden I'm like abandoning everyone I love. I'm like, what the hell? Like, when did I start doing this? You know, it must be hereditary. My dad did leave when I was really little. But for my sake, I try to think about it from a different perspective. Like, yeah, okay, maybe my dad abandoned me. Or maybe I was a toxic baby and my dad has really healthy boundaries.
You gotta watch The Bachelorette. It's the best show on TV. At least the first few weeks, because they do not care about the woman at all. She is a complete afterthought. You know, she'll try to get one-on-one time with each of them, and they're like, oh, but we were seeing who could do the coolest dunk into the pool. I mean, they have one of every type of guy, too. You know, they've got, like, a chef, they've got a maintenance guy, they've got a doctor for if anyone hurts themselves playing basketball. I mean, before the girl ruins things, it's basically just this male utopia. I mean, the way I see it, The Bachelorette, it's basically this show about one woman trying to sow as much chaos as she can into this otherwise thriving friend group. And if I was there, I would say, fellas, barricade the doors. Are we really gonna let her tear us apart like this?
The worst part about shitty jobs is in the job interviews. They act like they don't know their shitty jobs, you know? Like they'll ask you questions like, why do you want to work for Subway? And you want to be like, my dad left, I fell in with a bad crowd, I didn't work hard in school, my life is in shambles right now, you know? It's this or starve to death, and this barely won, so. But you can't say that, so you gotta be like, I just love sandwiches, man. I just. Roast beef is my life, salami is my passion, mayonnaise could be my art if you just give me a chance, coach, put me in the game, you know.
I was back here in November the last time. It was during the Rugby World Cup, and I was watching the Ireland versus New Zealand game, and I went to an Irish pub to watch it, and everyone there was Irish. I didn't realize I was wearing a green shirt, so everyone there also thought that I was Irish, and I realized I couldn't let them know I was English, you know, because of history. And so they were all like, what do you think of the game? And I didn't know what to do. I was just like, ooh, it looks like a pretty good game to me, man. And they were like, wow, we didn't know you were Indian. That's cool.
For those who don't know why, by the way, a guy who clearly has like more of a New York accent than anything, has these Irish people at his show. I'll just give you a quick background. A lot of you probably heard it, but I'm originally from New York, but I moved to Ireland when I was 14. And how I ended up moving to Ireland was, when I was 14, I got kicked out of St. Francis Prep in Fresh Meadows, Queens. And how I got kicked out of there was, for a 14-year-old, I had a serious problem with alcohol. So my mother had this ingenious idea to send me to Ireland to go to boarding school. And needless to say, I was fucking delighted. I could think of no better place for a young alcoholic to be than Ireland. Maybe they saw the potential in my alcoholism and thought, let's make him the best possible alcoholic he could be. He'll never develop here in America. We'll send him home to the major leagues.
I have a mental illness, just because I live in Chicago. You know, you kind of have to pick one when you get here. I chose body dysmorphia. Do you guys know what that is? Yeah. Some of you guys. If you don't know what it is, it's Democrat for ugly. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's actually a very serious mental illness where every time you look into a mirror, you see like this gross, unfuckable goblin person looking back at you, and all of your loved ones are like, no, you're not unfuckable, man. Like, I'd fuck you if we weren't such good friends, you know? Like, you're like, yeah, you have to say that. You're my uncle.
I'm for real, I can't go nowhere. Everybody think I who because I'm black and I'm bald. And I'm tall. This girl came up to me the other day, she's like, excuse me, are you Kevin Garnett? I was like, Kevin Garnett, shopping at the Dollar Tree, bitch? Why would Kevin Garnett be shopping at the Dollar Tree, huh?
So I have the surgery, all goes well, except I do wake up and I'm in the hospital underwear. And I'm like, who did that? I'm kind of looking around, I'm like, now who did this? And then they hand me my actual underwear in a biohazard bag. What the? I was like, you do this for everybody? They're like, no. What the fuck? Then the nurse was like, how do you feel? And I was like, I wanted to say like, I feel so loopy. But what came out of my mouth, I was like, I'm feeling lubed up. My mom was like, no, that's not what she means. She doesn't mean that. I'm like, no, I think I want the nurse to fuck me, yeah. I just had surgery, let me have this.
No, I'm not overly, I'll go to a protest every now and then. I've gone to them, I have. I have to go with my very liberal looking friends because otherwise people think I'm an undercover cop. Almost every time. I was at a protest about a year ago, a kid, high school kid, thought I was an undercover cop. He came up to me and he called me white oppressor. I know. I was like, how does this kid know my Xbox Live name? How is that possible? I didn't even know. What?
I realized I was bi, and there's not a lot you can do when you realize you're bisexual during a pandemic. You can't, like, experiment. But I really wanted to, like, make it official, so I just told my mom. You're right. It was a crazy decision. I went up to my mom. I go, Mom, I think I'm bi. She goes, why do you think that? Oh, pop quiz. I was like, I think I'm bi because I find other women attractive. In my head, I hear Steve Harvey. He's like, good answer! And she was like, no, Jackie, all women find other women attractive. I was like, okay, let me be more specific. I think I'm bi because I want to fuck other women. She goes, oh my God, Jackie, all women want to fuck other women. Yeah, have you ever had to out your mom? To your mom? Suddenly her whole relationship with my dad makes sense because he's kind of a bigger guy, so he's got like a great rack. Then my mom said the craziest thing to me. She goes, I don't think I'm bi, I just think sexuality is a spectrum and we're all on it. I was like, okay, that's the gayest shit I've ever heard. My mother is a queer icon.
My friends' kids are like friends of friends to me. Like, they're cool. We don't have a problem. I wouldn't pick them to hang out, you know? Like, when did our friend group quadruple? They have this thing where they think their kid loves me, and they'll be like, can you say hi to mommy's best friend in the whole world? And the kid looks at me like, I've never seen this bitch in my life. And I'm like, and I look at him like, of course you don't. You don't remember yesterday. Like, of course you don't know who I am. Do you know? And then I'm like, can I have a hug? And he's like, no. And I'm like, why do you keep bringing him? Why is...
You ask any white person who got married, they'll be like, oh, because we were in love. Like what Casey said, right? We complete each other. We'll cease to exist without each other. Beautiful answers, and that's why you should get married, right? But you ask Indian folks why they got married, you'll get answers which are slightly different. I asked my mom, I was like, Ma, why did he get married to dad? And she was like, Vikram, in life, people need to make sacrifices. So I went to my dad and I was like, Pa, why do you get married to mom? And he was like, Vikram, in life, people make mistakes.